Few states in the Union have as much folklore as New Mexico. Tall tales and legends are as plentiful as red and green chili. But why?
You got to understand that during that time frame, New Mexico was not, you know, it's rural now, but it was extremely rural there. One of the questions we get asked a lot, well, how come a death picture was not taken of Billy the Kid in Fort Sumner? Well, there were only 4 photographers in the whole territory at that time. Well, why was he buried, you know, the next day? Well, because it's July in Fort Sumner and it's hot and things happen to bodies and they want to bury them as quick as possible.
Testimony about the death of Billy the Kid varies. At least 3 versions exist about the murky events of July 14, 1881. One states that the kid was gunned down in cold blood by Pat Garrett, unarmed in the dead of night. The second story is that Billy was armed with both a pistol and a knife. And the third is that the kid wasn't even killed at all.
There's also legends that Billy was not killed. Billy the Kid was not killed in 1881. That Pat Garrett staged it to get Billy out because they were friends. Why do you think legends like this persist so much in New Mexico?
Because there's no clear answers.
There's no clear answers.
You know, and it's the way we interpret the site here at Lincoln. You know, people say, well, Billy the Kid's a good guy, Billy the Kid's a bad guy. Well, he killed 4 lawmen, so, you know, that's not good. But he is also a hero of the locals, especially the Hispanics took care of him. So we say, here's the facts. You interpret them the way you want.
The story surrounding Garrett's death is just as mysterious as that of Billy the Kid.
It actually started in this room right here. This is the old courthouse in Lincoln, New Mexico. And in January of 1896, rustling was running rampant. And a Messia lawyer named Albert Fountain came up here and prosecuted or presented a case against a lot of local ranchers. A pair in particular being Oliver Lee and Bill McNew. And he got indictments. And he knew there was possibly trouble because he brought his 6-year-old son with him to this trial. He got indictments against those people, and on the way home to Messia, him and his son Henry were murdered.
The murder brought Garrett, who was sheriff of Doña Ana County, into a ring of conspiracy that may have had as much to do with money as it did revenge.
On February 29th, 1908, Garrett had met a man named William Brazil, who was leasing his ranch over by Oregon, and a man named Carl Adamson. And the 2 men offered to buy Garrett's ranch, and he was in financial trouble. He agreed to go into Las Cruces, Messia, and sell the ranch to him. And it appears that Garrett and Adamson were in a buggy, and Brazil was there on a horse. And somewhere around Las Cruces, Garrett decides to relieve himself, gets down out of the buggy, and was shot in the back of the head.
Brazil pleaded self-defense and was cleared of the murder, but the facts don't add up to the story. And as with every other conspiracy theory, the mismatch of facts opens a Pandora's box of alternate realities.
The common thought is that Brazil was put up to it by a rancher in that area named Cox and Adamson and several others. And probably a man named Miller was the one that was hiding in the bushes probably about 50 yards away and fired the shot that killed Garrett.
And to add to the mystery, Wayne Brazil is linked to yet another New Mexico conspiracy. His nephew, Mac Brazil's ranch, became famous in July of 1947, an event that would put Roswell on the global map forever.
Again, in this area north of the Capitan Mountains here, close to Corona, is where the UFO supposedly hit in 1947, and his nephew was supposedly one that found the site.
It was his ranch, wasn't it?
Right.
Okay.
One of the most captivating traits of New Mexico is her mysteries and secrets. Mysteries that have no end in sight.
So there's just not a lot of black and white answers. You know, we deal in grays around here all the time, and the death of Pat Garrett would definitely be a gray.